Hello, learners. Welcome to my channel, English Unleashed. And today I am with another chapter, the sound of music. First of all, we need to understand who really needs to read this chapter, the sound of music. So this chapter is basically for anyone who has a dream. We all have dreams. We all want to fulfill our dreams. But this chapter will lay a path how you can achieve your dreams. Similarly, second, anyone who feels rejected. There are moments in life where we feel that, or we are made to feel that we are not suitable for a particular job, and then we realize that that is an injustice to us. We deserve better than that. So anyone who feels rejected, it is for those. And third, anyone who feels darkness around but does not want to give up. So if you have a spirit where you feel that the situation is not under your control, the situation is not under your control, but you feel that you don't want to give up, you want to live your dream, you want to fulfill your achieve you want to achieve your aim, then this chapter is for you. And if you are in class 9th, then this chapter is for you too. But uh, as I told you, literature is something which is related to your life. Literature gives you a purpose, it provides you the meaning of life. So this fourth option, and if you're in class 9, that will be the last option for me. But if you belong to any three of these options, you must go through the video. Now, here we are going to talk about Evelyn Glennie. Evelyn Glennie is the character, the part 1 of this chapter on whom the chapter is based. There are two parts of this chapter, and part 1 talks about Evelyn Glennie. Now, when this chapter starts, it starts at a railway station, and there is a lot of crowd nearby. Evelyn is struggling to find her train. This reminds me of Harry Potter movie where Harry Potter is trying to find out his train to Hogwarts. But keeping aside, here Evelyn is also trying to find a train because she wants to go to London. Now, there are two feelings inside her. She is nervous as well as excited. Let us find out why she is nervous. Actually, Evelyn right now lives in Scotland, and she has got her admission in Royal Academy of Music in London. London is pretty fast. London has an urban space. While Scotland, I would not say it is a slow rural life, but Scotland is where nature lives. It has a lot of farms, it has countryside, while London is urban city, so it is quite fast. Evelyn is nervous because she will have to leave Scotland today, because she has to fulfill her dream, and therefore she is excited too. She is nervous because she has to leave her home, and she is excited because she is uh, moving another ladder of her life, uh, climbing the ladder of her life, and going to get her admission in Royal Academy of Music in London, which is a dream for so many people. Then what is the problem? Everything is quite good. What is the problem then? The problem is, if you read this line, Evelyn, who is struggling in the crowd to feel the vibrations of the coming train. Why she is struggling to feel the vibrations of the coming train? We know there is a lot of noise at the railway station, and it is very difficult to feel it. But why does she have to feel it? Can't she see that the train is coming or not? Let us find out. Now, she gets to the train, and this is her first day in London. Someone describes her, or the writer describes her as fresh from the Scottish farm. Fresh from the Scottish farm. Why? Because she has never been to. It's a kind of comparison for the fresh vegetables which we get from directly from the farm, which has not reached the city. So Evelyn is also very fresh. She's for the first time she has gone out of Scotland. She for the first time she is colliding with the urban city life. So is this a challenge to her? Obviously, many of us face this challenge. Students whose parents work in central government, they keep on transferring from one place to another, and therefore they have to live through various things. So once your locality changes, once your position changes, once your location changes, you will have to adapt yourself to the next surrounding. Here also, because she's coming from a rural life, imagine a student coming from a remote village directly to a urban city, metropolitan city, whether it's Bombay, Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, and he will have to face certain problems: his language, his way, his attitude. So these all things pose as a challenge to the person. But but for Evelyn, there is another challenge. What is the challenge? Evelyn is a 17-year-old girl right now, and she has started losing her ability to hear when she was 8. So she was facing this problem where she uh, had difficulty to listening. She had difficulty to hear things, and gradually this problem worsened, and finally she became deaf. Isabel Glennie is her mother, and she got to know about this problem when she was 8 year old, and she was called to play the piano, but she could not know or understand. So her mother realized that there is some problem with her. Gradually, when the problem increased, uh, and there was a instruction from the school to get her medically checked. So they got to know, and the doctor prescribed her an hearing aid, and he also prescribed her to study in a school where deaf children study. 11-year-old girl, Evelyn Glennie, and right now, Glennie, she's just 11 years old. Just try to put yourself into her feet, into her shoes, and you will understand what it feels for an 11-year-old girl. She will have to use hearing aids. She's losing her ability to hear. She is asked to study with deaf children. It means she is not normal anymore. And there is darkness all around, as described in the chapter. She feels darkness all around. But the next moment, she feels that she is not going to give up. She says that she is not going to give up at any cost. One day, she sees a xylophone nearby. After looking at the xylophone, she gets a desire to learn that instrument. So, most of the teachers discouraged her because a musical instrument is meant for students who can hear. Why I have a music right now? When I was in class 10th and I was reading this chapter's sound, it clearly mentioned anything which is pleasant to the ears is music, and which is not pleasant is noise. I hope this background music that is being played right now is a music to all of you. So, but what is the problem with Evelyn? Evelyn can neither hear music nor noise. So these instruments are not meant for her. But as usual, uh, like in most of our life, there is a one teacher who is very, very concerned about us, who identifies something inside us. There is always one teacher. And here, the teacher was Ron Forbes. Ron Forbes could see there is a passion in Evelyn's eyes. There's a passion inside her. He understood her desire of learning the xylophone. He watched it. There was a spark in her eyes, there was a spark in her body that she really wanted to learn it. And therefore, Forbes supported her. Forbes supported her passion, and Forbes helped her to learn music. Now, how did he teach Evelyn, who could not even hear properly, music? What he did, he took two drums with two different notes at pitch, and he started beating them. And he asked Evelyn to feel the music. Evelyn, above the waist, waist was the, we can say, the 0 point. Above, when it was a high note, she could feel in the upper part, and when there was a low note, she could feel in the lower part. Gradually, Evelyn learned to respond to the notes or the sound through her body parts. She started responding to the vibrations of these sounds. She could not hear, but she learned how she can respond to these sounds. So that is why now if you go to the starting of the chapter where she's trying to feel the vibrations of the train because she cannot hear, and therefore she is trying to feel the vibrations. See this 17-year-old girl, and there must be a lot of crowd at the railway station. Now it feels very easy when I taught you in this chapter how she learned. It feels so simple. Just in few sentences I mentioned at how she learned the music. But is it really so? Many of us would have given up at the moment when she was given a hearing aid and said that she will have to study with the children who are deaf. But that's where the struggle starts. This is a complete struggle in one's life where you decide not to give up. This meeting of Ron Forbes and the desire of Evelyn to learn music, to learn xylophone, and her struggle to learn music through the vibrations of and the response of her body parts. Here, this is the most important phase of the chapter where actually the struggle resides. So don't just turn the page quickly. Rest, reside, and try to understand the pain that she must have gone through. Try to understand the surrounding that she was living. Try to understand when the teachers might be saying, "We cannot support Evelyn. Evelyn cannot do such thing." When everyone rejected except Forbes, who accepted her and taught her music. So this is all the struggle. This is, I think, the main part of the chapter where you need to learn. It's not easy. It's not that you just read 4 or 5 lines and you learn that struggle. You will have to struggle for it. We as students, as teachers, as individuals, we are facing a lot of problems in our life at various points of time. We have to select those problems, we have to choose those problems, accept them, and then work hard for the solutions of those problems. Even now our country is facing some problem, and we all are struggling, we are fighting with the disease, and one day we will overcome that. Similarly, we have a lot of problems in one's individual's life. Just like Evelyn, work hard and find a solution. Now Evelyn really became a musician. I'll tell you some of the achievements that are mentioned in the chapter. When she went to London, she toured the United Kingdom with a youth orchestra, and by the time she was 16, she we are not like in class 10 or 11, you are 15 or 16 years old, and then at that point of time, you are not even aware what you want to become in life. But Evelyn, at the age of 16, had decided that she is going to make music her life. It's a very big thing. It's a very big thing. You must have seen many actresses, many personalities who discovered quite later in life what they have to do in their life. Many business persons, many corporates who turn into comedians, stand-up comedians at the age of 35 and 40, because till the age of 35 and 40 they did not even know what they have to do in their life. So it's a very big thing that at the age of 16, Evelyn was able to find out what she has to do in her life. Then she auditioned for the Royal Academy of Music and scored the highest marks in the history of the Academy. She also moved from orchestral work to solo performances. That's a really big thing. And these lines must be very important to you, because you need to understand, if you work hard, these are not my words, these are Evelyn's words. Evelyn Glennie, what she felt, she had told you in just one sentence. If you work hard and know where you are going, you will get there. If you work hard and know where you are going, you will get there anyhow. So she has given you two things. First, work hard. And second, you should know where you are going. It means hard work and aim. These two things are required if you really want to achieve what you want to. Now, what did she achieve? I will not talk about motivation or achievements. It is up to you whether you get inspired or motivated or not, but you will have to understand the two things: hard work and your aim. That is completely yours. No one can give it to you. You will have to select those. Now, let us talk about her achievements. She's the world's most sought after multi percussionist with a mastery of some 1,000 instruments. What is percussion? Percussion is actually all those musical instruments where you can play with your hands. where you beat with your hands, like tabla, drum. So with a stick or your hands. So percussionist, again, you beat it with your stick. So multi-percussionist and a mastery of 1,000 instruments. It's really a big thing. Now talk about the languages. We are not able to learn even one language. I'm teaching English, but many of the students face difficulty in learning English. Let me talk about Evelyn. Evelyn had already known Scottish by the age of 8 or 11. She had learned because she could see and hear quite properly at that moment of time. But she learned two more languages after she lost her ability to hear, and that was French and Japanese. And these both languages she learned after she lost the ability to hear. So we are quite lucky. We all have, we are completely fit, right? But still we are facing difficulties. Now try to understand what Evelyn might have gone through, but still she managed to learn two more languages. Now this inspires us. This, if I don't use the word inspire, but this actually puts a question in front of us when we try to give up, that we will not be able to do so. Awards: in 1991, she was presented with the Royal Philharmonic Society's prestigious Soloist of the Year award. Let me talk about what she feels about music, keeping apart all those achievements. As for music, she explains, it pours in through every part of my body, it tingles in the skin, my cheekbones, and even in my hair. Every body part responds to the music. It's not just a heart, mind, hands, voice, and what else, but every body part, from your skin to hair to tingles to finger movements, everything responds to music. James Bates, he's a master percussionist. What does he have to say about uh, Evelyn? God may have taken her hearing, but he has given her back something extraordinary. What we hear, she feels. Read it again. What we hear, she feels far more deeply than any of us. That is why she expresses music so beautifully. We try to hear music, we try to listen to music, but she feels it. And feeling can only be done when you stop hearing. So stop hearing and start feeling. Then you will understand the power of this sense organ. Alright. So before I conclude, I have some things to say to you. Jumping on to the starting of the chapter, for whom this chapter is meant to read. This is meant for all of us because we are humans and we all have dreams. We all want to fulfill our dreams. I will really want you to go through the chapter once again and read it on yourself and try to get to know about the life of Evelyn Glennie. I'll be back with part 2 of this chapter. Till then, goodbye and thank you so much for listening. I am open for your suggestions. Please give me your valuable suggestions and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel English Unleashed by Anil. Thank you.